buildings of the modern times. But however, if it does not work out by the researchers who used to work in the building, that this is an impossible laboratory. Now, in more general introduction, I would like to also to refer to the one of the incidents that everyone knows about. That is the Proton Eco urban housing project. Believe it or not, 33 buildings of 11-story each and accommodating approximately 12,000 people or inhabitants were finally demolished in 1972. I think all you knows about it. The reason is that the gallery corridors, as designed by Yamazaki and anticipated as a closed, safe playground, actually turned to be an unpoliceable turf for violent youth. This is according to Montgomery, 1966. And also, I would like to mention about the shift towards more and more responsive design. Francis Duffy, the past ABBA president, which is also a colleague of mine at Princeton University, he points out that the need to incorporate the challenging issues of environment and behavior relationships. He emphasized on the increased involvement of social science in architectural design. So this is part of the introduction, and I would like to focus on just only two of the phases in the design process. Namely, it is the programming and the post-occupancy evaluations. I try to find out and how environment and behavior can be worked out in the two phases of the design cycle. Another thing which I would like to also to mention is that you may find a more detailed and diversified discussion in the paper that I submitted earlier to the organization. Today, the present is quite brief to carry only some message that I would like to present. First, it is about the programming. As a practitioner, programming can be a potential generator of environment behavior input in the design process. To give you some background of the movement towards a more social approach to environmental design. Most of you probably knows about the Environmental Design Research Association, which is the arena for presenting the enormous body of research conducted within the field of environmental design and related human science, especially on environment and behavior. Actually, this morning Aliyah already mentioned about this also. But here are some of the covers, but probably most of you have not seen. Social behavioral design approach should be distinguished from the formal design. This leads to the study of behavior settings that can best serve human needs and requirements, and also matching behavior and settings to improve the habitability of the built environment in terms of level of satisfaction, personal control of space or personalization, performance and productivities, and social interaction and support. To that end, one needs to incorporate the information inputs of the occupants and the social context into the design through programming. Especially the special needs and arrangement of specific behavior settings. According to individual needs and activities, to create a more responsive environment, one needs a careful behavioral program as a supplement to programming. However, I would like to point out some intrinsic problems in the design process itself. First, the task of programming is still conditioning. You may have a very good, very comprehensive program, or sometimes you don't have a program at all. In Thailand, there are very few professional programmers with environment and behavior expertise. There are limited relevant inputs in designing particular setting. The fact is that most of the users and occupants are unknown. Certainly, user participation would contribute to tailor-made design solutions if you have it. Architects barely communicate with their building users. They don't know the users. And architects and programmers work rather more closely with the paying clients. This is the other way around. Architects in general have unique aesthetic criteria, emphasizing on formal design. And that is the structural integrity and appearance to win the professional recognition, sometimes at the expense of the setting's functional values. You look at the Farnsworth House by Miss Vanderbilt. And the middle one is the house, the glass house, being awarded by ASA. ASA is the Association of Siamese Architects. For me, it doesn't make any sense for such a glass house in the tropical climate. The next one is the green complex, which is the newest buildings in Thailand. What they call the ENGO complex. Programming in general practice is mainly concerned with technical inputs to design, such as building systems, special requirements, or construction costs and all that. Through social design research and an understanding of occupants and their related context, I think more people-centric design guidelines can be formulated. At present, user participation as a source of information inputs to design is, I think, largely overlooked. A comprehensive behavioral program should be incorporated as a supplement to programming. So far, I don't think they really have it. Because of the elusive nature of the human behavior, so the behavioral consequence can hardly be predicted. Now I come to my third part, which is about the post-occupancy evaluation as a potential mechanism for testing the goodness of fit between environment and behavior. A post-occupancy evaluation should be considered as a system of quality control through the investigation of environment and behavior transactions. This is according to Walker 1968. He is a proponent of ecological psychology. To be more specific, the question is, do the design decisions satisfy the behavioral criteria of programming? This is a good question, but difficult to answer. We have to look into the occupants in the adaptation to environment, and also look in how the occupants being influenced by the surrounding environment. Research findings reveal that the specific needs of occupants have not been adequately served. You may look at a list of literature from Hertzberger to Cherry to Tomlin to Parshall and all that. You will get the same feelings that we are quite stay apart from what it should be. Look at this. You may witness some of the unanticipated outcomes. Here are the outcomes of the problems of visual constraint or visual obstruction. The building in front actually constructed later on. So you also find the visual disorder all over. Post-occupancy evaluation generally examines the goals and objectives to improve the building, the performance, and also the cultural values. Also examine the use of the building and translate the result into future design concept and criteria. The building on that side is in Sarawak. Now, however, I think some embedded issues should be pointed out as follows. First, post-occupancy evaluation is outside the concern and interest of most architects. They don't know even how to do it. Yet it is essential for the improvement of a particular setting. Second, the evaluations of buildings by operators and owners are mainly based on technical and managerial considerations, not issues of social science or social design, which is the main point that I stress today, and not applicable to any other buildings. I ask you one question. These environments that you see these environments are human and habitable environment. Probably you get the answer by yourself. Also, we have to consider the critical evaluations of the spiritual dimension of the built environment. Defensively, for example, for exploring the well-being of occupants as determined by the appropriate arrangement of physical settings. Here you can see the T junction. Also here, this building also at the T junction, but with a dragon facade to protect the building. And here are the well-known Erawan shrine at the Ladkrabang intersection. The fourth, the research on various aspects of building performance, including environment and behavior relationships, to be sure, are not serving the purpose of post-occupancy evaluation, which will provide renovation-based or knowledge-based design information to guide designers with the next building or to establish design criteria for similar buildings. So, a lot of study being done, but we have to find out the applicability of all the research work. So, in a nutshell, I can say that this is rather neglected contribution of the final stage of the design cycle. May repeat. There are four stages actually. The first is the in the design cycle. The first is the programming. Then you have the design and implementation. The third one is the post-occupancy evaluation, and the last one is the theoretical formation. Today I discuss only two of the cycles. Now I come to some conclusion. In an overall conclusion, 7 critical issues can be reached. First, design practice should treat information regarding environment and behavior transactions more significantly as input to programming process. Second, social design parallel to physical design. So you have to distinguish. You have the social design and the physical design. Should be the fundamental task of an architect. Designer must be formally educated in behavioral setting design and research. This is my questions for all architectural schools in Thailand or in some other countries as well. The third one is about the post, as well as formulated into a solid theoretical framework. Next. Architectural education, I emphasize on architectural education system, generates architects with environment behavior expertise to undertake the task of both programming and post-occupancy evaluations. Programming has been recognized as a significant task of the architectural management in the design profession, already recognized in Thailand. Greater efforts should be given to user public participation in order to reduce the enormous gap between attitudes and values of designers and those of the general public concerning the designs of various facilities. So people talk about user participations, but may I answer, does it really work? Further, the specific research should be focused on how users improvise adaptations of the physical setting. This would reveal how the occupants achieve their design goals with minimum of frustration and a maximum of satisfaction in the behavioral settings. Here on, you may find that people act blinds to reduce the solar disturbance. And the other picture also reveals that people use cabinet as partition to gain more privacy. Finally, we have to also discuss about culture. The multiple influence of cultures are the underlying factors. Actually, they determine the patterns of behavior and should be considered as virtual context of behavioral settings. Both adaptation and cultural dimensions of behavior setting should be profoundly investigated in future research. Here are my final words. After nearly half a century of behavioral recognition and contribution to facility design, the discipline is still at the periphery of professional practice. Eventually, the rather promising disciplinary development of fundamental issues of environment and behavior transaction must be incorporated into the design process. In the years to come, we must invest our full efforts into putting cutting-edge environment behavior knowledge at the forefront of architectural design. We have yet to fulfill our goals and objectives, that is, towards creating a more humane and habitable built environment. The huge volume and diversified research work to be presented today and tomorrow and later on, in one way or the other, things are to be contributive to the design and planning of built environment. So that's it. Thank you for your attention.